The External Affairs Ministry has made no mention on whether Chinese soldiers have withdrawn from Ladakh despite specific media queries. Earlier, government sources had said that there was a mutual process of disengagement in China, as a result of which Chinese soldiers had withdrawn 2 to 3 kilometers in most places other than the Pangong Lake. Here's what the External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said.
As you are aware, a meeting was held between the corps commanders of India and China on 6th of June in the Chushul Moldo region. This meeting was in continuation of our diplomatic and military engagement, which both sides have maintained, in order to address the situation in the areas along the India-China borders. It was agreed in this meeting that an early resolution of the situation would be in keeping with the guidance of our leaders. The two sides are therefore maintaining their military and diplomatic engagements to peacefully resolve the situation at the earliest, as also to ensure peace and tranquility in the border areas.
Well, that statement comes a day after India and China held a second round of high-level military talks in Ladakh. Now, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson was quoted yesterday as saying China and India have been effectively communicating via diplomatic channels over issues concerning the western sector of the China-India border, during which a positive consensus has been reached. But there was no reply directly to that today. No indication from the External Affairs Ministry that Chinese soldiers and Indian soldiers were actually disengaging physically from areas which have seen a face-off or a standoff, call it what you may. So the big question is this: why has there been till date not a single on-the-record statement on a mutual withdrawal of forces from Ladakh? What we do know is that the dispute between India and China has been along at least 5 points in Ladakh that you see over here on your screen, all the way up to Daulat Beg Oldi in the north, Demchok in the south. It's believed that the construction of this road, which links to the Indian Air Force base at Daulat Beg Oldi in the north, is a cause of concern for China. Now, instructions by the Chinese, which you can see here, intrusions I should say, by the Chinese, which you can see over here, have been reported in the Galwan River region. So satellite images, some of which you see here, tweeted out by international open sources satellite imagery experts, show small tents apparently in Indian territory, but also larger Chinese deployments just across the other side of the line of actual control. Now, further to the southeast, there is the Gogra post that you see here. The broader area over here is Hot Springs, where there have been reports of Chinese intrusions. Now, government sources have told us earlier that the Chinese and Indian sources have started de-escalating from here as well. But again, no mention of this in today's External Affairs Ministry statement. Now, further south, the area which has seen some of the most violent clashes in the recent standoff between India and China, the Fingers region of the Pangong Lake, government sources have told us that there have been no movement over here at all in terms of a Chinese withdrawal from the area. However, what you see here is relatively new, undated footage of Chinese and Indian soldiers, both armed, in this area. This purports to showing a peaceful banner display where both sides show each other signs that say that they are not on their territory, then both sides withdraw peacefully, unlike what we've seen on scuffles in this area in the past, which got extremely violent. So the big question remains: what is the extent of the Chinese withdrawal as part of a mutual process, or is this, as expected, going to be a long, hot summer? Well, joining us now, Lieutenant General H.S. Pannag. He's a defense analyst now, but he's also been an army commander, one of the finest minds and thinkers as far as so many aspects of soldiery are concerned. Thanks, General Pannag. Is it a matter of concern that the External Affairs Ministry today didn't say anything when asked specifically about whether there was a Chinese withdrawal from some parts of Ladakh?
See, what the External Affairs Ministry has said is our official statement. What has been carried by the media on Tuesday is based on top Indian Army sources which is deniable. Now, the top Indian Army sources said that after the corps commander level meeting was held, both sides have retreated a bit.
Yeah.
I think, in my view, what it means is that no disengagement as such has begun, though the media, quoting other sources, has interpreted it as that there has been 2 to 3 kilometers of pull-out, of move back by the Chinese. And curiously, they also mentioned that we have also moved. The top Indian Army source said that both sides have retreated a bit. I think what it means is that what we have been witnessing earlier, the fist fights and the club fights, those will not take place. Both the commanders said that while the talks are in progress, we must not engage in this spectacle, which is sort of the poor visual, both for the domestic audience in India and the domestic audience in China. I think this is what has been agreed to, and there has been no disengagement as such by either side.
General Panag, in simple terms, would that mean that China's soldiers continue to occupy our territory despite everything which has been said either over here in New Delhi or in Beijing so far, and that the status quo remains? In other words, we've lost territory. Is that what you are suggesting?
I think the status quo remains, and like you mentioned yourself, and earlier the Ministry of External Affairs had also mentioned, or their sources had told on the 7th of June, that it is going to be a long haul. And let me remind the viewers that the campaigning season in Ladakh lasts until end November. Please recall that 1962, the fighting carried on till 24th of November. So it is still 5 months to go, and it's going to be a long haul. And let us see how the diplomatic and military engagements take place and find a solution.
General, that's actually a very important point. Would it be reasonably feasible for the Chinese to remain where they are and set up camps at those altitudes and in those temperatures beyond the month of November, December?
I think so long as they are able to create the infrastructure in terms of shelters and heating, etc., which is required, it's not going to be a problem. After all, we are manning Siachen heights, which are far higher than this, and we ourselves are holding Daulat Beg Oldi and similar posts on our side. I do not think it's a problem. It is that when we say that the campaigning season ends in November, what it means is that thereafter it's extremely cold and military operations get restricted, but they are not impossible. And there are reports that Chinese have been training themselves to even operate under those conditions. So I do not find any problem so long as they create the infrastructure to shelter themselves during the winter.
General, to your mind, what is the best outcome of this for India?
I think the best outcome for India is to restore status quo ante April 2020 and also bring about a sanctification to the line of actual control. We have to convince the Chinese that this simply cannot go on, that periodically or every year and a half or 2 years, the Chinese come in and intrude into a certain area and give out what is their perception of this and put us on the back foot, and we have to respond and react to them, and then negotiations start, and it's a long process. But what I also want to mention is that this time the situation is different. It is not an intrusion like Depsang or in 2013 and what happened at Chumar in 2014. It is very different. Today, the ANI has put out a news in the afternoon that China has carried out precautionary movement all along the LAC. including the Northeast. And I have also mentioned in my articles that the China would have taken precautions, and it has come also for a long haul. It will not move out without extracting concessions in terms of our border infrastructure, particularly the threat, which causes threat to the Aksai Chin from the west, that is from the Daulat Beg Oldi region, and from the south, that is the Bogra, the Hot Springs region, and the Pangong Tso sector itself is linked to the southern approach to the Aksai Chin.
General, the road we are constructing, or have constructed in fact, from Durbuk all the way to Daulat Beg Oldi, and the statements being made by the government that nothing is going to stop Indian infrastructure development. Do you believe that this is indicative of a new posture as far as India is concerned, that we will build infrastructure there, and irrespective of what the Chinese do, that's not going to stop? And if that is a position that we've taken, is that good enough?
Well, as a sovereign nation, we have to take this position. What's the choice do we have? What other choice do we have? But the fact is that China has intruded into the Galwan Valley, and our road passes close to the junction of the Galwan River and the Shok River. So if we continue developing this road, and in fact in this area it is already developed. So yes. If the Chinese have said that you will not, if they say that you will not develop this road, it might lead to a confrontation. It might lead to a kind of a skirmish, a border incident.
All right. Well, it's, I think, fair to say, and based on what you're saying, General Panag, that it's going to be very much of a long haul kind of situation, very unpredictable, but it's clearly not over as yet. And if it is over, then perhaps there need to be clearer statements from the government on the record at various levels. Thank you very much, General, for speaking to us, sharing that perspective that you've written about very, very closely. Well, we're going to continue with our focus on the Ladakh situation. Joining us now, General J.J. Singh, the former Chief of Army Staff. General Singh, good to speak to you. What is your perspective of what's happening now? Are you satisfied by the fact that the External Affairs Ministry says nothing essentially about whether or not Chinese soldiers have withdrawn, while government sources on the other hand indicate that there has been mutual de-escalation in some parts? Does it sometimes appear as if we are speaking in two voices, that there is nothing more substantive coming out?
Vishnu, I would like to say that the Chinese don't do anything without thinking it through. They have taken a position, and they have taken this position of trying to surprise us, and came with larger force than usual, and normally the follow-up force joins later and the patrols come first. This time they have come almost simultaneously. Therefore, I believe that the Chinese intention was to take us by surprise, and also come up to as far forward as possible up to the Shok River to be able to dominate the river. So their intentions are very clear. We should read the Chinese mind. It's not very easy, and we feel that today what stand we have taken is the right stand, and we have to stay firm. Now, Chinese also believe that loss of face is not acceptable. So do we. If they are the Middle Kingdom, India is no less. Today, India is more central than China. It is the central part of South Asia, whereas China is in the eastern part. So India is no pushover. I would like to emphasize that the Chinese tried to test us. Can we mobilize? Can we react to what they are going to do? And when they saw our reaction and they felt that we will be able to give them a bloody nose, it also put a caution in them, although there was no possible intention of an armed clash from the Chinese side. But
right.
They did provoke us.
All right. Well, it is clearly a matter of huge concern over there, the Chinese provoking us, obviously in it for the long run as well. General, thank you very much, sir, for being with us.